Picture this. Two early humans, maybe 300,000 years ago, standing at the edge of a cliff. One of them sees a lion in the grass below. They can't say the word lion, they can't say run, they can't say danger. So what do? They survive anyway. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans hunted together, raised children, made tools, formed alliances, fell in love, grieved their dead, all without a single spoken word as we understand it. So today, we're answering a question that sounds simple, but completely rewires how you think about being human. What did we actually do before language existed? Here's the number that should stop you in your tracks. Anatomically, modern humans have existed for roughly 300,000 years. Most researchers place the emergence of complex spoken language somewhere between 100,000 and 50,000 years ago. Some estimates push it even later. That means for at least half of our existence as a species, maybe more, we were fully human, fully conscious, fully capable of love and fear and ambition, and completely wordless. That's not a small footnote. That's the majority of the human story happening in total silence. So how do you coordinate a hunt, warn your tribe, or comfort a crying child with no words? You use what you already have: your body. Researchers who study primate communication, because our closest relatives, chimpanzees and bonobos, still communicate this way, point to gesture as likely humanity's first true language. A raised hand, a pointed finger, a specific walk that means follow me, a frozen posture that means something is wrong. Gesture has a huge advantage over sound. It's precise, it's visual, and predators can't hear a hand signal from a mile away. Some anthropologists argue that gestural communication was actually more sophisticated than the earliest vocal sounds because it could show shape, size, direction, and distance all at once. Try describing the exact size of a fish using only grunts. Here's where it gets genuinely strange. The evolutionary psychologist Robin Dunbar has a theory that before we had gossip, we had fingers. In primate troops, social bonds are maintained almost entirely through physical grooming, picking through fur, removing parasites, sitting close. It's not just hygiene, it's currency. It's how alliances are built, how trust is signaled, how "I've got your back" gets communicated without a single sound. Dunbar's theory is that as human groups grew too large to groom everyone individually, you simply don't have enough hours in the day. We needed a new, faster way to maintain social bonds. His argument is that language essentially evolved as vocal grooming, a way to touch many minds at once instead of one body at a time. In other words, before we talked to bond, we touched to bond. But silence didn't mean humans were quiet. Long before structured language, there was almost certainly a rich world of proto-language, rhythmic grunts, cries, hums, and calls that carried emotional meaning without grammar. Think about how a baby communicates today. No vocabulary, no syntax. And yet a parent can instantly tell the difference between a hungry cry, a scared cry, and an angry cry. Some researchers believe early humans operated similarly. A vocabulary of tones, not words. A rising pitch might mean excitement or alarm. A low, steady hum might mean calm, safety, togetherness. Some scientists even suspect that music came before language, that humans were singing to each other in some primitive sense before we were speaking to each other. Here's the part that should give you chills. We never actually left this era behind. It's still running underneath everything we do. When you comfort someone by putting a hand on their shoulder instead of finding the right words, that's the old system. When you can tell your friend is upset just by the way they're standing across the room, that's the old system. When a crowd erupts into applause or a stadium roars as one, that's not language. That's 300,000 years of wordless coordination, still fully operational, running quietly under the surface of every conversation you have. Language didn't replace those systems. It was built on top of them. So the next time someone says humans are defined by language, remember this. For most of our history, we built families, survived predators, and passed down knowledge to our children using nothing but touch, gesture, and sound. No words required. Language isn't what made us human. It's just the most recent trick we learned. If this blew your mind a little, subscribe. Because next time, we're going even further back, to the moment scientists think the very first word might have been spoken.